I've been learning Spanish while sitting on the toilet for 150 days straight. But let me tell you how I got there first. I used to have a good system for taking my Spanish lessons on Duolingo while I was on my 15-minute break at work. What I would do is walk around the parking lot in the back and do about 1 or 2 lessons within that time frame. It only helped in keeping me consistent for about 5 days out of the week. And then since having moved to Kentucky, I started working remote and I didn't know what to do. I had to figure out how to use another daily routine to help regain my consistency in learning Spanish. So I've had a very interesting poop journey. To keep it brief, keep it simple, I've had issues pooping since I was a kid. It has always been a struggle for me. So that had developed a disdain. I really hated that process that we had to go through every day. It's something that I was very irregular. But over the years, having since been married, having since changed my diet, I've been in a much more healthy poop lifestyle. So I've begun to cut out more processed foods. I've cut out dairy and meat within my primary food intake, so I'm more plant-based now. And I've just been consuming a lot more water, staying better hydrated. And I've also just been consuming a lot more fiber. And that's one of those things that's been really helpful. So with it being such a regular thing, I consider it to be a viable environment in which I could learn my Spanish lessons. I was already using my phone to play video games or watch YouTube, so why not be productive with it? So this is the criteria for me choosing to do the Spanish lessons. It had to be in a consistent environment. I was always in the bathroom. It had to be coupled with a consistent routine. This is something that happens pretty much every day of the week, more or less. And it had to be in a distraction-free environment. The door is closed, nobody can bother me, no other obligation can take away my attention, so I'm not tempted to lose focus. So I've been at this for 150 days straight. Plus, and then since the recording of the video, it's been a little longer than that. But one of the things that has been such a benefit in this journey, keeping that 150-day streak, is that on Duolingo, they have a streak freeze. And that streak freeze has done so much for me. It's been it is literally a grace period. So I get like 2 streak freezes, meaning if I skip 1 or 2 days, I can use that streak freeze to keep my streak. So what that means is I may have had a week where I might have been traveling, or we had some kind of family thing going on, some kind of event. We have just been busy. And, you know, we are not perfect people. So sometimes we're going to make mistakes. Sometimes I'm going to forget to, you know, pull up my phone, pull up the Spanish lesson and get that done. But having that streak freeze has allowed me to continue building that streak from day to day. So all in all, Pobody's nerfect. So a way to hack yourself into developing a habit is by attaching it to a pre-established routine or habit. So another example to use to reference is, for me, if I want to incorporate more Brazil nuts into my food lifestyle because it's generally good for men, I have in the past found it difficult to remember to grab a handful after breakfast and eat that. So what I did is I hacked the habit by putting some of the Brazil nuts into my cereal. So not only did it surprisingly taste good and even enhance the experience of this bland Raisin Bran, but I've been doing it more consistently because of it, and it's on track to become a regular habit. Discipline isn't about rigidity, it's about flexibility. So having that aforementioned free streak gave a grace period, which allowed me to miss a day or two without losing all the progress that I made and building up that streak. That then relieves any tension and keeps the streak building aspect pretty fun and enjoyable. Case in point, I tried this other app related to brain development called Elevate. And I really enjoyed some of the games, but the one thing I absolutely hated is that it had no grace period for a streak. So starting off, as I'm trying to build the habit, but end up missing a day, I really couldn't get the streak to build. So that made me very uninterested in aiming for any kind of streak. I wasn't inclined to build that back up. If we don't give ourselves any kind of grace within the routines and habits that we want to build for ourselves, we're going to make ourselves miserable. Don't overdo it with the habit. Start small and find a flow that is sustainable. So I like the leaderboard feature that they have in Duolingo because it makes the learning process very challenging and competitive. But once I got into the upper leagues, it got a little too real. The demand to keep up the XP made it to where I was focused only on earning the points and not as much on learning. And I didn't have the paid version, so it would cost me greatly to do some of the other challenges that are more so geared towards earning XP and less about learning. So I had to take a step back from that entirely. Ignore the double XP opportunities so I can stay in my own flow and actually learn. Because competing each week, especially in the upper leagues, for me, it's just not sustainable. Now I might get back into the challenges later on as I'm in the lower leagues now, which allow me to push more for the upper league. For now, I'm gonna keep it chill. So once you've developed the base habit or routine, what or how can you add to that? So I started doing Spanish lessons with my wife while we were just sitting, chilling on the couch. It just goes to show like how easy it became to be able to pull up the app and just do a couple of lessons. Having done the routine of doing Spanish lessons while in the toilet, it allowed me to get over that initial hump and building the habit so that it didn't matter where I was able to pull it up in different environments while we're hanging out with family. Brittany's whole family is also doing Duolingo, so that makes it easier. Having other people to kind of be in that same flow with you also makes it easy. So I'm going to try to find other areas in my life where I have a desired habit that I've really struggled to implement in the past and figure out a way to hack it by combining that with a pre-established routine. As I was writing this script, I actually came across Kat Waugh, who has a whole video dedicated to developing habits within pre-existing routines. I'd already started the Brazil nuts, as mentioned before. I'm really excited to see the other areas that I can work on with this method. I'm going to give myself grace and not feel bad for not doing the habit every single day, but be flexible enough to be able to pick it up again the next day, or at least pivot within the same day. Maybe too tired to work out this morning because I went to bed late last night, but I'll work out tomorrow morning, and then I'll go to bed on time tonight. So my word of the year, as mentioned in previous video, is consistency. Finding a small, achievable, and repeatable flow for my habit building. All right, so I'm gonna try to say this in Spanish, just so you know that all this has been actually meaning something. It's been building up to something. So here we go. Yo sé un poco español. Me gusta hablar con mi esposa en español a veces. Quiero aprender más, entonces nosotros podemos viajar a España. Ahora yo quiero escribir una historia en español a recordar que yo sé. If I do come out with that story, it's going to probably pop up later on social media. We'll see. So some of the Spanish I had to Google because so far within the units that I'm in on Duolingo, I haven't quite learned some of the tenses and some of the agreements. So I'm still working on that. So I did have to cheat a little bit to formulate a proper sentence. But at least I have some kind of proof that doing this 150-day streak has been something actually beneficial for me. One of the things I think about is not necessarily enough just to do a little bit every day, but one thing I want to build upon is being able to pretty much write a story. That's what I'm looking to do, is write some kind of short story that is going to exercise my cognitive skills, the memory I have of the Spanish words and phrases that I've learned so far, so that it's better ingrained and it's used more in a conversational manner. So let me know in the comments, what was a weird way or a route or method that you took to develop a new habit and have that actually work out for you? I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a long time coming. I'm really excited to finally get this completed, get it out to you, because it's been a very personal project for me. I'll catch you in the next video. Deuces.